All right, hello everyone. Happy Friday. My name's Rilus Dana. It's another free webinar Friday. So I have an exciting topic today. Some exciting topics. We'll see if they go together. I think they do. But we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. Going to talk about the music industry and also estate planning. So cryptocurrency is the first topic that's been in the news quite a bit lately, and the music industry. So the reason that's a topic is I want to talk about how the music industry, what we saw from technology, how that affected the music industry. You know, once artists had the ability to release music easier on their own, and also things like Napster and the peer-to-peer sharing. So that's how those topics kind of go together. So I'm live on Instagram right now, as well as Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching live, thanks for tuning in live. If you're watching on the replay, welcome from the future. Glad you're here. We usually go live 12 o'clock Fridays. Today it's Pacific time. Even though I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona, I'll push the stream back a little bit later to that time. May change the day in the future. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know if Thursday is a better day to tune in, or if we'll just keep it at Friday. I just started going live on Fridays. I think it was around April of last year, March or April, and that was just the time to fit it into my calendar and my schedule, just make sure I did it at least once every week, and kind of kept with that. So if you have any questions, anything else you'd like to discuss today, you can leave a comment and we can talk about whatever issue you'd like to discuss. All right, and let me share my screen here. I have a little presentation here to talk about the blockchain. Oops, escape. So I don't want it to take over all my screen. I don't know how I can change that. View, presenter view. Take over all my screens there. Sorry, I tried to share my screen here, one of them. But for some reason this PowerPoint, it's I'll just do it this way. I start the presentation and it takes over my second screen too, so it looks kind of weird. On my second screen I have the broadcast information up. So I'll go ahead and share this screen. There we go. So let's talk about the blockchain. So the blockchain, this is the future. I think it's the future. Just like, you know, people didn't know quite what the internet was going to be and how it was would change our lives. I feel like that's what the blockchain is. So what is a blockchain? It's based peer-to-peer topology. Blockchain is a distributed ledger technology that allows data to be stored globally on thousands of servers while letting anyone on the network see everyone else's entries in near real time. That makes it difficult for one user to gain control of or game the network. Okay, so what is the blockchain? Did that help define it at all a little bit, or are we more confused now? So there's another definition from Forbes. I like how they defined it. It's an open distributed ledger that records transactions in code. In practice, it's a little like a checkbook that's distributed across countless computers around the world. Transactions are recorded in blocks that are then linked together on a chain of previous cryptocurrency transactions. Okay, so that's a good way to kind of describe it. It's like a bunch of checkbooks where they're all connected. So every transaction that occurs, everyone can see that. So that's what makes it hard to hack the blockchain is that it's a public record that everyone can see. So since everyone can see it, no one can change those records. All right, imagine a book where you write down everything you spend money on each day. Each page is similar to a block, and the entire book of pages is a blockchain. Okay, there we go. So that's what the blockchain is. It's a technology. It's a ledger technology. This was interesting. So the way I'm still just trying to understand more of the blockchain myself. But the way I understand it is that basically these computers, they do a math problem to authenticate. So there's two different ways they can do it. There's proof of work versus proof of stake. So the proof of work is in a blockchain in which an algorithm provides a mathematical problem that computers race to solve. So that's basically how I understand it. So you may have heard of people that are mining for Bitcoin. That means that they're running the computers. They're fighting to solve those math problems to authenticate the other users. So they want to be the fastest to solve those math problems. Yeah, so here we go. So each computer, often referred to as a miner, solves a mathematical puzzle that helps verify a group of transactions, referred to as a block. All right, proof of stake is a little bit different. So I guess what that is it's kind of like, let's see, I'll just read it. So it's, okay, so cryptocurrency they're willing to stake or temporarily lock up in a communal safe for the chance to participate in the process. It's almost like bank collateral, says Okoro. Each person who stakes crypto is eligible to verify transactions, but the odds you'll be chosen to do so increase with the amount you front. So that's another way of providing validation. All right, so what is cryptocurrency? So cryptocurrency, so people on Instagram, you can't see my computer very good, but oh well. You can watch on YouTube to get the visuals. All right, so cryptocurrency is decentralized digital money based upon blockchain technology. So the most popular versions are Bitcoin and Ethereum, but there's more than 5,000 different. So Bitcoin's been in the news a lot. I'm curious, people watching, if you guys have heard of Ethereum as well, or is this the first time you're hearing of Ethereum? So yeah, leave a comment before if you knew what Ethereum was, or if this is the first time you've heard of it. All right, so you can use crypto to buy regular goods and services, although many people invest in cryptocurrencies as they would in other assets like stocks or precious metals. While cryptocurrency is a novel and exciting asset class, purchasing it can be risky, as you must take on a fair amount of research to fully understand how each system works. Okay, so cryptocurrency, it's like stock or precious metal that you can also do transactions with. And I guess that's the part that's developing right now, is what transactions are possible with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. All right, so how does cryptocurrency work? So cryptocurrency, medium of exchange that is digital, encrypted, and decentralized. Unlike the US dollar or euro, there is no central authority that manages and maintains the value of a cryptocurrency. Instead, these tasks are broadly distributed among a cryptocurrency's users via the internet. Okay, so what is cryptocurrency then? So it's medium of exchange, digital, decentralized. That's one of the key words, decentralized, meaning no one controls it. It's kind of regulated by the blockchain. Okay, it was first outlined by Satoshi Nakamoto in 2008 in a paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So kind of cool. I think he was anonymous for a while when he posted it, or this still may be a pseudonym. The person that created Bitcoin or created the Bitcoin, and that also created the blockchain as well. It was the idea of the blockchain, I believe. So the cryptographic proof comes in the form of transactions that are verified and recorded in a form of a program called a blockchain. All right, so let's talk about, so this was in the news recently. Oops. Not going to be able to see all my pop-ups with the... So this is Janet Yellen, who is the, I guess it's the new Secretary of Commerce or something. But this is a recent article. She said that cryptocurrencies are particularly concerned. I think many are used, at least in a transaction sense, mainly for illicit financing. So that's one of the complaints about cryptocurrencies, is that since you can't track them, since they're decentralized, that they're used for just illicit activities and illegal activities. This is also her as well. So blockchain-based financial networks are attractive to criminals because they do not require users to identify themselves, as the law requires most conventional financial networks to do. Because no individual or organization controls these networks, there's no easy way for governments to force them to comply with money laundering laws. All right, so that's the concern. The concerns are money laundering laws and illicit activity. There's also been, it was the Prime Minister of France. It was a couple years ago. Came out, was against cryptocurrencies as well, because countries like the ability to control their currencies, then they can control interest rates and things like that, or simply just print more money. But with something decentralized like this, there's no control to any power. So I think that's some of the challenges from the governments. All right, so the illicit activity, we talked about illegal things. People do illegal transactions, or maybe they do more with Bitcoin. But what good comes from the blockchain? So what good can come from cryptocurrencies besides just a new exciting asset class? So a good thing, something that I'm really excited about, is smart contracts. So what a smart contract is it works by following if, when, then statements, and it's written into code on the blockchain. So the way a contract works, a regular contract, is you have an agreement in writing, but it's up to individual users or individual parties to perform under that contract. And then if they don't, they perform differently than it was understood or agreed upon by the other party, then you got to go to court and sue them to enforce your rights over the contract. So my position as an attorney, I've had a lot of experience where people make agreements and then don't follow them, or there's a contract but it's vague, or it leaves out a material part, or it leaves something else. I guess with smart contracts, they would still need to be they need to be clear, so it doesn't solve the problem of vague contracts. But what it does solve is you can have the blockchain execute the contracts. So if this happens, then do this. So let's look at this example here. So let's see. So a network of computers execute the actions like releasing funds to the appropriate parties, registering a vehicle, sending notification, issuing a ticket. When predetermined conditions have been met and verified, the blockchain is then updated when the transaction is completed. So let's see how this plays out in supply chain. So buyer B wants to buy something from seller A, so she puts money in an escrow account. Seller A will use shipper C to deliver the product to buyer B. When buyer B receives the item, the money in escrow will be released to seller A and shipper C. If buyer B does not receive the shipment by date Z, the money in escrow will be returned. When this transaction is executed, manufacturer G is notified to create another of the items that was sold to increase supply, all this was done automatically. All this is done automatically. So that gives you an idea of what the blockchain can do. So it's not just, or I guess one way to think of it is it's computers executing commands. So which in a way can be a little scary if you think about that. So the blockchain and smart contracts gives computers the power to execute commands. Once you program it in there into the blockchain, if this happens, then do that, it will be done. Okay, so that's the smart contracts is something that I think is really exciting and that has a lot of value for society. I believe. I think our lives would be better utilizing this technology, where we can enter, where you don't have to rely on people to follow contracts. You can program it and make sure that that it is followed. So instead, we'll let the computers and the code execute exactly what they're programmed to do. Okay, Bitcoin versus Ethereum. So in talking about smart contracts, I want to talk about some of the different cryptocurrencies and some of the differences. So Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency. So that's why I'm curious if you guys have heard of Ethereum before this, or if it's just all about Bitcoin you've been hearing about. Okay, so Ethereum is another one, but here's one of the key differences with Ethereum and some of these other cryptocurrencies, some of these other blockchains. So Ethereum allows for smart contracts. Now with Bitcoin, it does not allow for that. So they're both powered by ledgers and cryptography. But here's a difference. Transaction on the Ethereum network may contain executable code, while data affixed to Bitcoin network transaction are generally only for keeping notes. Other differences include block time. Yeah, so block time, how hard of a math problem is it? How big is it? So that's another thing that I've heard, where the Bitcoin blockchain is a little bit bigger and slower, so it costs more money to do the transactions, and it lacks for smart contracts. So if you guys are out there, speculating in cryptocurrencies, purchasing some as a hedge for inflation, I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of talk, a lot of investors, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of personalities where they're putting part of their net worth into cryptocurrency, and they're buying Bitcoin almost like gold. Where just because it's precious, meaning that there's only a limited amount that gives it value. But I would also say, look at the power of the blockchain. So Bitcoin, it's definitely scarce, that's true, but what is the value of it going to be in the future? Is it going to hold value just because it's scarce? Where, gold is, you could say it's valuable because it's scarce, but it's also used in certain things, right? There's use for it in manufacturing and electronics, I believe, and certain things where the properties of gold are necessary for making things. But with Bitcoin, it just exists on a ledger. There's the fact that you have some of this, I guess this value of it is what we're seeing in the news go up and down and change, and it's kind of a big question of what does determine the value of it. Okay, so that's as far as I got. I think I guess I didn't oh, here we go. This is what I want to talk about. Lost Bitcoin. So it's estimated that 3.7 million Bitcoin are probably gone forever. That's not $3.7 million worth of Bitcoin. It's a lot more than that. It's $3.7 million Bitcoin, or 3.7 million Bitcoins are missing. Gone forever. So you could argue that is the bad side of decentralized. If that was any other type of asset, a bank account, and someone were to pass away, we can collect something from the name of the deceased. It's called probate. That's what I do all the time. But with decentralized Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, there's no one there to reset your password if you lose it. So that's what we gotta look out for. So that's my transition. This is my transition into the music industry. So how does Bitcoin relate to the music industry? Now, here's one of my theories for some of the missing Bitcoin that's gone. If you go back to the late 90s, when was in 2000 when Bitcoin was released. So this is the time. So some of the early Bitcoin, I think, was when people were also doing the Napster days. Is when the music sharing and things like that. So people may have bought some Bitcoin, but they were also using their computer for other activities. So they got rid of it. Also, the comparison to the music industry is look what's happened and what's happening in the music business as things shifted to I think Napster is a big part of it. I watched a documentary or some YouTube shows about this last night. It's pretty interesting. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here. Okay, yeah, but the music industry, I'll be 40 this year, so I remember when early days of the internet. I remember when Napster first came out. This device, this software to share files is what Napster is, and this allowed people to essentially share music is what it was. That's exactly what Napster was. It was a program for file sharing, but it was a way where people could share the music on their computers and then let people access the music on their computers and therefore be able to download the music from other people's computers. So this was a big change in technology that I think the music industry, they were fighting against this. The biggest example, you remember Lars and Metallica was suing Napster, so that they sued Napster. And then I think it was the record industry started suing individuals that were downloading a lot of the content. So that was the record industry trying to fight against this progress and this change. So hopefully we learn that with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but there's unknowns about it, and a lot of people, they're just worried about it, so they're trying to push it out. I know a couple of years ago when I opened a business bank account, I asked this question to a few different banks actually, and at that time they asked if I accepted cryptocurrency as a payment, and they said that if I did, that I'm not allowed to bank with them. So they were trying to use their power, their banking power, saying that I was prohibited from accepting cryptocurrency. I think they've gotten more relaxed in their stance on that, especially as we've seen companies like PayPal start offering cryptocurrency, and many other big companies are holding some of their assets in Bitcoin and accepting Bitcoin as payment. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Now, where this relates to estate planning is one of the reasons, or one of the ways, is smart contracts. I see estate planning in the future being done in a smart contract, where upon my death, transfer, this bank account equally between my 3 kids, to be, that could be done automatically. So instead of letting a person carry that transaction out, it could be done just automatically through the blockchain. So I think that has great benefits into how we live and how we conduct our business. So that's something there. And then the decentralized, it is interesting to see as our world shrinks and becomes smaller, as we're more connected to other countries and other parts of the world. The idea of having currencies and things that are easily exchangeable in all places becomes more appealing. The other part to estate planning is, so Mott Legal, this is a practice management company for lawyers. So the way I'm trying to position Mott Legal is where we can empower the attorneys to give them the resources and tools that they need. That cool software when we meet with clients, it does all the data entry. We designed the estate plan in there, and all of those tools in Mott Legal. So the attorney membership program for Mott Legal, I'm opening it up in February. I'll put a little ticker on the screen here. So starting February, I'm going to allow other attorneys to use our same software, the Mott Legal software. So this is the beginning of the attorney membership program, and it's my hope to create a community of attorneys where we can empower each other, help each other out, but help each other grow our individual businesses. So I think, so the technology of Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies, we'll see that emerge. So we're going to see some changes in the laws as well. So a lot of exciting things. Other thing I'll mention for attorneys, we did a CLE. I did it yesterday, actually. It was on digital assets and modern estate planning. The replay is still available, so you can go to mottlegal.com and catch the play there. If you're an attorney looking for credit for CLEs, you can go to that and get some good CLE. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.